Welcome back to Project Zomboid. As is my tradition, I'm starting in one of my other saves, just to sort of show you what I've been doing on my own, separate from the game that we've been streaming. This is, I called this one Survivor Experiment, because I decided to try out trying to sort of survive at the higher difficulty level again, because if you remember back at the beginning of this series, I started out on the normal middle survivor difficulty, thinking, oh, that, yeah, I usually start games on normal difficulty, that's usually what I can handle, and it was just overwhelming. I would just run across the map until I died, and that was kind of all that was going on. But now that I've had a bunch of experience in builder difficulty, I thought maybe I would actually try out survivor again, and it has been tough. This is my second character on this build, and in this save. And the first character was killed because he just came around a corner and immediately got lacerated twice by a zombie that he didn't see. So it's pretty rough. But this is my starting neighborhood. I kind of lucked out with where I started. I started in this house down here. And this is kind of a wealthy neighborhood. It's got several large houses that were well stocked. And so because the place where you start has the least zombies, I was able to sort of clear out the immediate area around this house and sort of settle down in this house and make it my base. And I just sort of went around and vacuumed up all of the stuff in the nearby houses to stock this house. Managed to get myself, I still haven't found a two-handed weapon, but I do have, a collection of pipe wrenches, which are not the best weapons, but they're enough. However, once I got that character lacerated and he started getting anxious, which meant he had the zombie plague, I started trying to sort of like say, okay, well, I'm going to take him away from this neighborhood and explore a little bit since he's going to die anyway. And I ended up taking him quite a ways. He went on a journey. At one point, he sort of jumped over a fence onto the railroad tracks to get away from zombies, then jumped back over and basically got chased all the way up here to where he died. He found one house that had a gun in it. That was kind of cool. But that was basically all the useful stuff he was able to do. But so I'm thinking that the way I might need to address this, because basically he couldn't find a place that was not full of zombies, which usually on builder difficulty, there can be a lot of zombies around, but you can clear them out, they'll kind of go away, and you can usually find some place to stop that isn't completely full of zombies. And I was just not finding places like that outside of like a couple of little spots in the woods. Like in the town, there just was nowhere for me to go. So I'm thinking that my strategy with this save is going to be to very slowly expand my radius away from my starter home. And sort of like, because I'm going to take this bubble of safety that you sort of start with and very slowly expand it out and see if I can make that work. Because otherwise, Survivor might still just be a kill fest for me. So that's what's going on here, but I don't want to spend too much time sort of just talking while this woman slowly starves to death. Let's go and get back into the builder save that we've been playing as part of this series. Though, if I do demonstrate that I'm able to survive at Survivor difficulty, I might take this series and like say, okay, we've, done what we can in this builder save. Let's start over again at Survivor and see what kind of new adventures we can have. But for right now, I think I'm still most comfortable at builder difficulty level here. So let's jump back in. I believe that Shonda is the character that we've been playing with. Coalition, yes, I'm sure I turned the stove off this time. We're good. So Airy Twitch says that this game seems like a really good one for my kind of stream, specifically because every playthrough is so different. And I think, actually, honestly, that might be one of the reasons why I like this game so much. It's like, because, for instance, I really got into Tunic. I played the heck out of Tunic when it was new, but then I stopped because I ran out of Tunic. I did pretty much everything you can do with that game. But unbounded games like this that are just mostly simulation driven are the kind of thing that I actually tend to play even longer term. I can love a game like Tunic, but eventually I finish it and I don't feel the need to go back. A game like this, or like RimWorld, I keep coming back to RimWorld again and again and again because it just doesn't stop being interesting. So let's see. Okay, so it's late at night. Yeah, it looks like we stopped it right before I was going to go to bed. So let's go and take a nap. And then I believe that what I was in the middle of trying to do... Let me check out my skills here. Oh yeah, so my carpentry is at level 2, which means I'm capable of building walls, but I think I can't build was it doors that I couldn't build yet until I get to carpentry level 3. So I was going to go out and see if I could raise my carpentry skill by just declaring war on the furniture in this neighborhood. So let's sleep for now, get nice and rested, and then go exploring. So average Twitch user has a State of Decay question, but I'm not sure I'm parsing it right. I'm not sure that I understand it. It's something to do with the sort of default clothing that survivors have. But could you try restating your question, average Twitch user, so that maybe I can understand it a little bit better, because I'm having trouble following it. Oh, hey, Captain Binky. Thanks for joining us in the Twitch chat for the first time. It sounds like you've watched some of my YouTube videos before, but you're here live for the first time. It's good to have you. Okay, so let's make sure that I've got the equipment that I need. So I've got a hammer, I've got a screwdriver. Do I have... Yes, and I've got a garden saw in my backpack. Oh, I've got a bunch of stuff that I don't actually need to bring with me. So let me drop off a few things. Let's drop off... I've got like radio equipment and stuff over here. So let's drop off these VHS tapes. Sterilized rag I want to keep. This peanut butter is good if I want to set a mousetrap. Oh, which I have. I've got mousetraps. So yeah, let's use some peanut butter for the mousetraps. These are snacks that I've got. I'm a little bored, but I'm not too hungry. But if I've got stew out, I might as well start with a full belly. So let's eat what's left of this stew to set our stomach off on the right foot, and then we've got our snacks in our backpack that we can hold on to. And also, if we're going to be raiding other houses, I mean, hopefully we'll find something edible there. So I think we'll be good for snacks for a little while. All right. Where did it go? It's here. Yes. Okay. I don't want to bring the cook pot with me. Cook pots are big and heavy. Oh, interesting. So Captain Binky says, as he said in a reply on Twitter, March Ridge is due for a bit of TLC and future map updates, but apparently it's intended to be a military community. That's why it's gated and it lacks some amenities, is because this is where people live because the folks here, a lot of them work at a military base. That does make sense. So I haven't seen any military facilities around here, but I also might not know where to look. So that's a really interesting thing to know. I did start reading up. Andy Hodgetts pointed me at sort of updates that they've been doing on their future plans and things. And I saw that that they are doing map updates, and apparently they're doing their first map update that doesn't invalidate everyone's save files, which is great. Let me see if I can so I'm going to disassemble this table. But that means they're actually... It's interesting hearing about their sort of like technical woes, which are so similar to the ones that we have. I mean, we make very few changes to our maps in State of Decay for good reason, because there's just so many bugs that can happen with an existing save file landing in a version of a map that's different from what was there before. They're running into some stuff like that. That's delaying their next update. There we go. Oh, I failed to produce any usable materials. That's okay. There is more furniture for me to destroy. Oh, Captain Binky is Andy Hodgetts. Well, hey, welcome to the chat, everybody. Captain Binky, he's one of the developers of the game. So, so if you have any questions about Project Zomboid, don't ask me. Ask Captain Binky. So that's great. Let's. Okay, so I have declared war on furniture. I'm basically just going through here and destroying as much furniture as I can. I don't have a carpentry level 2 book, I believe, and so I'm not able to enhance the rate of my skill acquisition here. So let's see how much XP I get from destroying this chair. I guess I could have sped this up, but we're close to the end of it now, so... Oh, wait! I forgot to memorize the first number. Well, you all saw how much I gained. Let's do this again. And this time I'll actually pay attention. Okay, so I am at 114 XP out of the 300 that I need in order to level up to Carpentry level 3. So let's see what I get from taking this from 114 to 124. Okay, so I got 10 XP. I'm not going to collect all the planks that I create because planks are freaking heavy. A great way to get yourself killed is to think you need to pick up every plank. You don't. You can always come back for them later. But yeah, so it has been a challenge to try to survive March Ridge because, like you said, Captain Binky, the town is missing some amenities. Like it doesn't seem to have every single thing that a town can have. Okay, so for the chair I only got 5 XP. So it seems like either the size or some other aspect of the furniture determines what disassembling it is actually like. Okay, so La Coalición is pointing out that I am apparently in Knox County, which includes a place called Fort Knox, which that makes sense. Let's disassemble a countertop. Okay, so yeah, the chairs got me 5 each. Let's see what this countertop gets me in terms of XP. I know this is really fun, just watching bars go up. I guess I can accelerate it a little bit. So, okay, so that got me 10. So today's a kind of a cool day for me because after this stream is over, I'm going to be done with this stream at 2 o'clock. After the stream is over, I'm actually planning to play Project Zomboid in multiplayer for the first time. We've got a group together at work who we're gonna get together on our like private Discord server, and we're gonna play Project Zomboid in co-op. Most of us, I think there might be a handful of people, like 1 or 2 people in the group who have played co-op before. Most of us have never played this game in co-op, and I don't really know what to expect from the experience. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know, like how anything works. So this is going to be a really, really interesting experience for me. I'll grab some cleaning liquid so I assume that lets me wash my clothes a little better? I don't know. Can I disassemble this? Yes, I can. Randoth Cord says I should kill all my friends and steal their stuff. That's not how friendship works. But there we go. So, let's see here. So, Eritor says, oh no, not kitchen renovation. That never works out on HGTV. Yeah, of all of the work that my family and I have done on our house, the kitchen renovation was the most time-consuming and expensive. So, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I would have to disassemble the sink before disassembling the countertop in this case. And I do not have a propane torch, so that's not going to be a thing I can do. What about... Now, because I've been playing on Survivor... I'm nervous opening any door because the zombies, it feels anyway, like the zombies respawn more aggressively in Survivor than they do here. And so it's much easier to accidentally, like, basically believe that a place is cleared out and then find out, no, actually there are zombies there. Oh, hey, Jimmy Jibbs, thanks for showing up and joining our chat. I really appreciate having you here. Oh, there's stuff in these drawers? Oh, there is stuff in these drawers, and I don't care about any of them. I'm just going to drop them on the ground. Ha, ha, ha. All I care about is destroying furniture. This is a furniture massacre up in here. I'm just failing to produce usable materials all over the place. Oh, let's take a door apart. I hate doors, too. Doors need to go. What did they ever do for us? Right? Yep, door's gone. Oh, I'm well over. Oh, you know what? I think somebody on, it might have been Twitter, told me that you can disassemble floors. Is that a thing? Like wood floors? I don't seem to have the option to disassemble the floor. I don't know if Andy's still in the chat. Let me know if there's a way to rip floorboards up, because if there is, that would be awesome. Okay, I think I am going to grab a few of these materials that I'm producing. Cosmic is like, down with the communist doors. Wait, did I ever open this? I don't think I might not have ever. Oh, a first aid kit with nothing in it. It's just a box. What useful people lived in this house. All right, back upstairs. Nope. What other furniture can I kill? I mean, I know you guys came to watch me fight zombies, but I assume that fighting furniture is just as exciting, right? Yeah, take that! Take that, furniture! You stupid chest of drawers. Okay, so Captain Binky, Andy Hodgett says, I don't recall what changes to respawning rules there are between modes, but zombie numbers are based off a general heat map which defines density, and then that density is scaled for different modes. So, for instance, in Muldraw, the highway area is more densely packed than the outskirts to the east. That is what I found. Yeah, it's like I often, when I'm running around in Muldraw, it's like I find that highway area gets, even if I clear it out, it gets overpopulated pretty fast. Whereas even in Survivor, once I jumped the fence over onto the train tracks had very little going on. So that it's cool when the numbers that you formally do actually do end up, working out in reality, because it's very common for game developers to be saying, oh yeah, this is what's supposed to happen, and then for some reason it doesn't actually feel that way to the players. Peroxica says, is it just me, or are doors what separate humans from zombies? I guess that's true. I mean, both literally, like the zombies are on one side of the door and you're on the other side of the door if you're alive. That's often true. But also, the fact that we know how to use doors, the fact that we build doors, that is kind of what separates us from the zombies. Okay, so I think I'm about done raiding this house. So I'm going to take these shelves, which are huge. I could put them in my duffel bag, probably. Learn how to go downstairs. But because this is builder difficulty, I'm fairly confident there's not some random zombie waiting to murder me, so I'm just going to cross the street overloaded. Get back in my house. And I always want to grab these wall shelves, because it just feels like there's always a good reason why you might want more shelf space. So let's put down these shelves right there. And someday I will put them to use. Like, for instance, I've got all these extra guns lying around and bullets. I can just grab those and put them on the shelves one of these days. Sometime when I'm feeling like organizing stuff. Okay, my character is super bored right now. Andy, I'm actually really curious. Do all of the red moodles over here, do all of them have a negative impact on your combat? Like, the fact that I'm bored, is that going to make me worse in combat? Am I going to regret going out bored? Oh, wait. Why is there... Oh, the cabbage and the chicken go bad. Oh, that sucks. Okay. Grab that stuff. Let's make some soup. Because we're home anyway, and we're hungry, we should make some soup. All right, so what should we stick in this cooking pot with water? Let's make... Oh, my character's sad, too. Okay, yeah, we definitely need to make some really good food. So... Oh, yeah, Okay, this stuff is going to go bad anyway. Let's put some steak in this soup. Steak soup. Or steak stew. Steak stew. And let's put some potato in there. This is going to be the most nutritious stew. I love it. Put some zucchini in. It's starting to get too heavy to carry, but it's fine. Was it over here that I had? Okay, no. I'm trying to remember where I keep the good stuff. Looks like we got some canned carrots. Let's grab these canned carrots. Grab the canned potatoes. And... Oh, where did I stick the... I think I have the can openers up here on these shelves. There we go. I can open the canned carrots. Let's open the canned potatoes. I'm assuming canned potatoes are treated differently from regular potatoes. So they count as variety, probably? I don't know. Canned carrot. Potatoes are one of the more, like, among vegetables, they've got some of the most nutritional value in terms of just, like, raw calories, which is great. I love just filling my stew with potatoes. In real life, too, I love filling my stew with potatoes. And then let's grab some canned beans. Beans are also a really good source of nutrition. So let's open up these canned beans. I think that'll be my 6th ingredient, which means my stew will be done. I'm probably actually getting too much stuff here. But where do I keep my, like, spices and stuff? Oh, yeah. Because my character is sad... And, oh yeah, it looks like, maybe because my character's not a great cook, I don't have a lot of unhappiness benefits here. So let's put some pepper in the stew. There we go. It'll help my unhappiness a little bit. Not very much. If I was a better cook, I'm thinking that might be a little bit better, but let's put it in the oven. Okay, that food's getting started. In the meantime, where do I keep my entertainment books? Do I have them on this shelf? Yes, I do. So I'm going to read this book real quick. Well, I'm going to bring it over here so I can monitor the stove. I don't want that to go bad. Okay, so let's read this book. There we go. Okay, my character's feeling much better having read a book, and the book has now... They've actually eaten the book. The book has gone away. Let's see here. Oh, so Captain Binky says that he might have missed my question. So my question was whether all of the red moodles have negative impacts on your survival. Like, because some of them are like, my character's sad, my character's bored, things like that don't feel like they're directly saying that I should be worse in combat. But I could imagine that, the thing that I like about this game is the fact that I have to think about more than just the action. I have to think about taking care of my character on a lot of different dimensions, and then all of that, at least a lot of it, feeds into my effectiveness in combat. So I was just curious, like, I know that exhaustion type things definitely make my combat worse. I wonder, like, does hunger do it? Does sadness do it? Does boredom do it? I think boredom might go away the moment you encounter a zombie, right? So maybe boredom's not really as much of an issue, but other stuff? Okay, so turn off the oven. Note, we have turned off the oven. Okay, and then we're going to eat this. Coalition was like, note, oven is off. Okay, so that was very nutritious. We'll stick this on the stove. By the way, one thing, when you're placing things, it's very easy to think I'm putting this on top of the stove. I'm actually putting it on the floor behind the stove. You have to put your cursor on the floor underneath the place you're setting your thing, and then you click, and then they'll put it where it goes. Okay, yeah, so it looks like Andy did answer me. He says, or maybe Raneth Cord repeated the question. That's right. So he says, yes, they do. All of the red moodles do affect your survival, though it may be possible that some of those negative effects are for systems that are not yet implemented or that are due an overhaul. So, okay, so as a general rule, it's good for me to assume that a red moodle is going to be bad for me, and it's good to solve them. Not every single one of them is going to directly necessarily have a combat impact, but it's not bad for me to be assuming that that's the case. And if they don't have a direct combat impact, they will probably at least at some point have an impact on something. So let's grab this corpse. Okay, so zombies are starting to encroach a little bit. So I have not crossed the street to these townhouses yet. In fact, I don't think I've looted a single townhouse. So let's continue our war on furniture. Ooh. I heard a thump. Thumps can be in a lot of things. It sounds like it's coming from the left, which means it might be in the next door townhouse. But I'm seeing little, like, indicators that there are radios and TVs over there. But it could also be coming from upstairs in this townhouse. So, yeah, when I hear a noise like that thump, I start, like, approaching doors carefully. I'll open the door and then quickly step away while in combat mode. Just in case. Okay, and then one last door in here. Okay, it looked... What is on the floor? Oh, it's not on the floor. This is a bookcase. Right? Is that a bookcase? Yes, it's a bookcase. Farming Volume 4. Yay. All right. Oh, I have not gotten rid of this rotten food. Okay, so nobody's in this place. Oh wait, is there a door over here? Just because I'm hearing this thump. Okay, this has got a broken window. A zombie could have come in here. This thump is gonna bother me. Like, I have to know. I have to know where the thump is coming from. Oh, we got some... Oh! Carpentry Volume 2! That's the carpentry one I've been looking for. Also, a auto manual. Good for repairing vehicles. Let's just grab all the books. I forgot what books I've got and which ones I don't, but whatever, it's fine. Oh, wait. Oh, we got another cooking magazine here. Grabbing all the books. No, I'm not. Did I just misaim that, or do they not fit? Okay. Okay, I'm starting to get to the top of what I can carry. In fact, I should have dropped off those planks before. So let's see if we can find the zombie. I'm hearing the thump to the right now, which means I think I am in the right place. Is it this room? Yes! Oh, crap. I kind of missed the zombie here. There we go. Dead. All right. Anyone in here? Nope. Ooh, a gun case. Oh, with all kinds of good stuff in it. But I'm going to come back for that after I drop off my stuff. So there's a bunch of good looting in these places that I have not yet done, but we're going to drop off stuff before we come back. One piece of advice that Andy gave me earlier was that he actually likes to drop his backpack outside of places before he clears it, just to give, basically every advantage that he can possibly get when he's going in, when he potentially could be going into surprising combat with zombies, which makes sense. I think what I tend to do is just like make sure that I keep from getting overloaded, and I try to aggressively end my scavenging campaigns when I fill up my backpack or when I fill up my how much load I can carry, because yeah, it does make me very nervous. I don't always do it. Obviously, you saw me, coming from next door overloaded, but as a general rule, I try to do that anyway because I think it's smart to. All right, so let's drop some planks. So I'm just gonna like fill this area with planks. Oh, and actually, I think I might need, another plank here. I'm just going to fill this area with planks and build a wall later. And it looks like, okay, so I've got a doorknob, but I don't have any hinges. If I want to build a door right here, which I think I do, eventually I'm going to need 2 hinges as well. But we'll worry about that a little bit later. So I'm curious, Andy, because like you just acknowledged, which I think is good, the that boredom is kind of the opposite of combat. Like you're never bored when you're in combat, which makes perfect sense. And boredom is like the counter to just spending all of your time at home. I'm wondering, like, what is the end consequence of boredom? Like, if you just never ever resolve it, you just let it sit there forever. What happens as a result? Like, does it lead to depression? Does it lead to anxiety? Does it lead to like other worse smoodles that do sort of affect you in combat? Okay, so I guess I don't need more than 1 saucepan. So maybe I should not hold on to this saucepan because I've already got another one. We'll leave it here in case I need it someday, but... Oh, yes. Okay, we got more food. That's good. Dried food. I'm a big fan of dried food. The Coalition is like, death by boredom. Yeah, if characters could get bored to death, that would be interesting. I think it would be probably a different game with a different level of seriousness, but... So, Lackenstein is saying that... boredom makes you sad faster, and so that makes me wonder, like, what the consequence of sadness is. If that can lead to long-term depression, which maybe can have an impact on your survival chances. Okay, so it's making sure that I want to be able to mark this place off on the map, which means looking in every door, making sure that I've collected everything that's really useful. Like we've got this sewing kit, for instance, this battery, the briefcase. I mean, I like having a lot of containers. I think I can leave the briefcase, though. All right, I think we have cleared this house. I mean, obviously, there's still a bunch of furniture in here that we could destroy. In fact, destroy! Nails! Destroy! More nails. Yes. Okay, but I think we're good here. However, I think we do need to head back home again to drop off our stuff. Okay, so Captain Binky says, the reason I do the drop backpack thing is because your carry capacity is affected by hunger, amongst other things. So if you're super careful about staying well fed all the time, it's not an issue. But if your hunger level drops, you can find yourself with surprise encumbrance. That does make sense. Yeah. So my focus has often been to just make sure that I keep myself well fed. That I'll bring snacks with me. I'll eat a really good meal before I leave, which starts me with the green noodle. By the way, I'm gonna do my classic throw the garbage on a zombie corpse, and then it will rot away later on, and I won't have to worry about it. I love that zombie corpses go away with all their stuff. Please never change that, because if you ever change that, it'll result in just piles of garbage on the ground when zombies rot away, and I don't think that'll be any fun. And I imagine that's probably why you don't have them drop all their stuff when they rot away, because it would just be annoying more than anything else. I've forgotten what my sort of organizational plan was here with these with the food. Looks like I've got, I think I'm not as organized here as I often am. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have the canned food that can be used as ingredients in one cabinet, and then the canned food that you just eat it out of the can in a different place. Just so that I kind of know where to stand when I'm cooking versus where to go when my character is just hungry immediately and I don't want to take time to cook. Okay, look, this is where I'm keeping the dried food. So let's pass the dried chickpeas and the rice into here. And then I've got here's where I keep all of my condiment type things. So I'll stick those in there. I keep forgetting to set mouse traps. That's like totally a thing I want to do, and I keep forgetting to do it. I guess pancake mix counts as this. And then where have I been keeping my cooking tools? Here we go. Okay, I couldn't remember if I already had a griddle pan and a saucepan. It looks like I did have a griddle pan. I did not have a saucepan. Let's just drop it all off in here, though, until I run out of space. And then I've got this battery to put somewhere. I think I usually keep my batteries with my materials. Stick the battery in there. The cleaning liquid, I don't know where. Oh, I've already filled up this shelf. Great. I'll put the cleaning liquid in the... Is there a... Yeah, there's a main floor bathroom. I'm going to stick the cleaning liquid in the bathroom. Because I feel like it. Because I'll remember that it's there. And then, I've got some nails. Those can go here. I know, organizing my stuff. This is the most interesting thing you could possibly be here to watch me do. Finally, I've got the first aid kit and the sewing kits. Where did I set up? Did I set up a place as being my sewing place? Looks like this is where I keep my pens and things. No, not the stairs. Okay, I always want to run everywhere, but it's really hard to sort of hit my marks when I'm running everywhere. Do I have a room set up with a sewing kit? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Looks like I might not right now. Okay, this is where I'm keeping weapons. Huh, interesting. Well, I guess, you know what? I'm just gonna... I might do some reorganization later off stream, but for now, let me just set these items out here on this countertop, and I'll worry about them later. So a couple of sewing kits here. Let's see what's in them. Okay, looks like I've got scissors, needle, thread. So at some point I can start maintaining my clothing. By the way, Captain Binky, I'm curious. So right now I have very little experience with tailoring. I've just barely started trying to mess with it. And it looks like the benefits of like padding and patching clothing are really, really minor. But I'm betting that's just because my skill is low. Is it like... Does the tailoring skill get significantly better over time, and so you can like basically armor yourself once you get really good at it? That's what I'm imagining is probably true, but I can't confirm it because it takes a long time. I mean, you have to just tear up and patch so many pieces of clothing to get that tailoring skill up. It's not quite as easy to just go and farm as, say, carpentry is, where I'm just like I just declare war on furniture and problem solved. I'm going to go to sleep. Nope. That's how you miss stuff. That's how I got one of my characters killed, by the way, is I just, like, ended up missing a doorway, and I just ran into a corner, and then I was surrounded by zombies, and I couldn't get out. Oh, gotcha. So Captain Binky says that, like, that yes, that basically boredom and sadness and depression, you know, those are supposed to kind of lead somewhere themselves. So, for instance, if you collect a ton of stuff and you basically make like a self-sufficient compound and you just stay there forever, there should be a negative to that. There shouldn't just be like, yep, I've won the game now. There should be a negative. And sort of like boredom, loneliness, depression feels like a way to go. But I think he's right. What he's saying is that his team is taking that a lot more cautiously than they've taken. You know, like, obviously physical damage is bad. Being tired and being less able to fight because you're tired, that's an obvious thing that I think most people would pretty easily accept without, you know, being worried about it. But things like, you know, depicting depression and the effects of depression, treating it like it's a negative that makes you less survivable in the apocalypse, things like that can really can rub people the wrong way. Can make people feel like they're being sort of singled out and targeted as like, hey, you would not be a survivor in the apocalypse, which, you know, it's not a feeling people want to have over something that is as, you know, complex and difficult to grapple with as sort of like you know, a mental illness, for instance. And so treading into that territory can be pretty hazardous. And we've dealt with the same thing in State of Decay, where it's like, you know, we thought of a lot of, like, you know, psychological traits and things that we could give characters that might be interesting to grapple with in the apocalypse. But ultimately, we avoided depicting any of those as being particularly positive or negative because we were nervous of people feeling targeted and feeling misrepresented by mechanics like that. And so while I think that, you know, depicting those kinds of things does have a place in stories like these, it's easier to depict them in stories where you really control the story, you know, where you as a developer are really deciding what happens and how things are depicted. When you're doing a big systemically driven simulation like this, where you can't make sure that every depiction of, you know, like psychological states and stuff like that is being handled particularly sensitively because it's just out of your control. The game is doing it by itself. Like when you don't have that level of authorial control, it makes sense to be very cautious about what you depict at all. So yeah, kudos to the team for, you know, recognizing that issue and making sure to try to tackle this stuff sensitively. Okay, so Captain Binky says that the tailoring system feels like it's kind of in its infancy, that you could sort of do some minor stuff now, but that the system could easily, you know, sort of grow and become more interesting and complex over time, which makes a lot of sense. And he points out that a lot of this stuff makes more sense in a multiplayer context, which I'm going to experience for the first time today, where different people can specialize. So it's like I could be the tailor, and that's all I'm worried about. Whereas somebody else could be the carpenter, and somebody else could be the cook, and somebody else could be the fisher person or whatever. And in that kind of scenario, the fact that it takes a long time to figure out how to tailor matters less if that's the only thing you're focused on accomplishing as a character. Like you don't have to worry about it nearly as much as if, like, you know, the way that I play, where I'm a single character trying to do everything, in which case I can't possibly devote the amount of time necessary to tailoring when I'm trying to do everything else. But if I was the tailor in a community and that was my only job, that would be a very different scenario. Okay, so as usual, I've got a bunch of books and food to try to organize. I apologize in advance for this being dull, but I'm really glad I've got Carpentry Volume 2. In fact, before I go on my next furniture killing spree, I should probably read Carpentry Volume 2. So let's get all this food out of my inventory, and we will continue my war on furniture in just a moment. So let's grab the beans and the potatoes and the sardines, stick them in there. One thing that'll be interesting for me to discover is what it's like to not be able to accelerate time. because that is a thing I rely on when I'm playing this game normally. My character typically does a lot of reading. I usually am advancing much more quickly because I insist on just reading every book that seems relevant to what I'm doing. And that helps me when I'm playing in single player, but in multiplayer, where you can't speed up the reading process, I imagine that might present some challenges. That players, that you're not just contending with a character's boredom, you're contending with the player's boredom. And players might just be like, now if you've got friends that are fun to talk to, maybe you could sit there with your character reading a book and just chat with other people about what they're doing. And if that's the case, then yeah, that probably works just fine. Okay, where did I stick the? Here's the condiments and basic ingredients. So I'm probably not organizing this stuff in a way that makes any sense, but it's fine. I can refine it later. I don't have to make you all watch me get everything exactly right. Like, for instance, I'm going to stick sleeping tablets in this closet. That doesn't make any sense at all, but whatever. Okay, so I'm a little hungry, I'm a little bored, and I'm just going to lean into that harder by reading Carpentry Volume 2. So let's just hit F5, accelerate time. Oh, wait, I'm getting thirsty too. You know what? Thirst is a little bit more serious. And have I fixed up my my bucket of water here? Good. Okay, so let's drink from this bucket of water. By the way, so one of the things that Andy's team is working on. Okay, I didn't mean to. Hold on. Let's pour this into my water bottle. One thing that I know Andy's team is working on is okay, that works. Whatever. Is an update to the liquid system, so that when I'm like pouring liquids from one place to another, apparently they've got an entirely new interface set up to handle that sort of thing, which sounds fascinating. I'm trying to preserve these like pristine water sources as long as I can. As long as I can get water from rain and stuff like that, I totally will. Why am I up here? Oh, because I think in my other game I keep my books upstairs. So I just had this impulse that if I wanted to read, I had to go upstairs. But so we're just gonna watch this little bar go up while I check the chat. So Zero Skill PB says, yeah, Slow Reader is an easy take in solo. So Slow Reader is a trait that gets you 2 points that you can then spend on a positive trait. He says that in solo, they don't care because they can just speed up time. But in multiplayer, being a slow reader is a big deal. And that totally makes sense. I'm kind of that way with Sunday Driver. I've been that way with Sunday Driver. Like anytime I wanted to, I'll give Sunday Driver to a character because it means they drive slow, which actually makes it a little easier to manage driving, because sometimes my problem is I drive so fast that I have trouble stopping when an obstacle comes on screen. And so being a Sunday Driver is helpful until you try to take a car off road. Then your lack of speed and your lack of momentum can actually cause you a serious problem. You can feel like you're sort of stuck in the dirt. So as long as you're not going off road, Sunday Driver is also is an easy grab. But it definitely has its advantages. Its disadvantages. Oh yeah, so Zero Skill is agreeing that like Sunday Driver's death if you ever need to go off-road or tow. I have not tried towing anything yet. That actually sounds pretty interesting. Because people have told me that you can like basically tow like if you want to collect a vehicle without having to travel all the way to it on foot, then you can tow the vehicle behind another vehicle. Which sounds great. People ask for that all the time in State of Decay. We just keep not... Yes! We now know how to use generators. We don't have a generator, but we know how to use them now. Cogs is like, stream froze. Peroxica says, scared the shit out of me. Yeah. Sorry for the false alarm there, but I was just like... That was... like, how to use generators is one of the most critical magazines in the game. Because basically you can't hook up generators, even if you're, I mean, I think you start with this knowledge if you start as an actual, like, your origin story is electrician. But I think that's the only way to start with that knowledge. Otherwise, the only other way to get it is to find that magazine. So once any character in your world finds that magazine and you put it in a place where people can get access to it, you're good. But until then, generators are just not a thing for you. And so now generators can be a thing. I still need to find a generator, which I have not yet done. But now, theoretically, I could use one if I found one. Oh, look at that! The war on furniture has paid off. We are now a level 3 carpenter. Check us out. That book really helped. I gained so much more carpet. I think it goes up to like 300%, doesn't it? Oh, this is plus 75. Okay, I thought it was more. But anyway, yeah, your skills go up significantly faster when you've read a book. So that was great. Okay, so let's head home. Let's drop off these planks that we just acquired. We'll drop these again on the ground. But I've actually got an emergency level problem, which is I need to read the how to use generators thing and then put it in a safe place. Because if this character dies, I do not want them to die with that magazine on their person. Because that is bad for everyone. So let's quickly, we're hungry, we'll eat. We'll eat real quick. The last of the stew. Yeah, Orthouse. Don't get me started about craftsmanship in State of Decay 2. I know it's not the greatest skill. It was one of those skills where it's like, we didn't put it in the game because we had an obvious, really good use for it. We put it in the game because it felt like it filled a gap in the overall system, and we never actually came up with a reason for it to be awesome. So I apologize for that. That was kind of figuring that out was kind of my responsibility, and I never actually managed to make it work. But you know, as Andy knows, like, finding the best use for every skill is not the most obvious, easy thing to do in the world. Captain Binky asks if I go back to watch my old videos to see how well I've progressed in the game. I haven't done that exact thing, but I mean, I definitely am hyper aware. I mean, at the very beginning of this video, which I think you missed, I showed that I had actually started a new game at Survivor difficulty for the first time since the very beginning. At the very beginning, that's where I started, because I always start. I usually, unless I have a reason not to. What am I missing? Oh, I don't have enough nails. Unless I've got a really good reason not to, I usually start a. Did I ever find a box of nails? I usually start any game in a at sort of an average difficulty level, what I consider to be sort of the average difficulty level. And so I started on Survivor, and that's one of the reasons why I'm just doing so poorly in my earlier videos. It looks like we don't actually have enough nails, so unfortunately we can't really get started. What am I doing on this wall? Let's see if I've got enough to at least do one thing. Okay, yeah, so I can build. So I always wanted to have a door frame here. That's what made me pause. So I'm going to start with a door frame here. But I'm pretty sure that I don't have enough nails now to do anything else. I can make a wooden floor, but that's about it. So we've still made halting progress. I need to figure out where to get some nails. But anyway, yeah, but I started a new game at Survivor difficulty, and it was definitely harder, and I definitely lost a character within the first couple of days because of just one zombie that sort of came around a corner and lacerated the crap out of me. Hey, some zombies to kill. But I wasn't nearly as hopeless as before, and before that guy died, he left a base that was well-stocked, ready for the next person to come in, with, you know, he had found weapons. He hasn't found a single two-handed weapon yet. Oh, wait, I'm really tired. I didn't realize how tired I was. Okay, we're going to knock this zombie out, and then we're going home to sleep. One question I have, actually, Andy, is sneaking up on zombies, like attacking a zombie from behind who has not yet noticed me. Does that confer a big advantage, or is that just like hitting any other zombie? Does it not make a difference? Yes, by the way, Jawafawa, that is a freaking garden gnome. I found that in a different yard across town, and I brought it all the way back here because I needed to have a friend. So yeah, I imagine this character probably talks to the garden gnome, does all kinds of things. But I should probably wrap up this episode, actually. Let's go upstairs. But I should probably wrap up this episode so we can start a second episode, because we've completed our war on furniture. That was the biggest thing we were trying to do. We need to find... I felt like I had found a box of nails at some point, though. I don't know if I put it somewhere dumb, or if I'm just remembering finding a box of nails in a different save. Because I could have sworn I had found nails at some point. And I could easily have just put them somewhere in this house that's stupid, that doesn't make sense. Oh, Raneth Cord is criticizing me for making the garden gnomes sleep outside. Well, I mean, they're called garden gnomes for a reason. They belong in the garden. The stuffed animals definitely live inside with me. I also found 3 stuffed animals. So, there we go. Okay, so Vanner Gaming says that if you have a knife when you're sneaking up on a zombie, you can actually one-shot it. But it takes a lot of player skill for that. So, I'm curious. So, I know that you can crouch and sneak to be quiet and sneak up on a zombie when you're in combat stance, so you can't be crouching. So do you have to just quickly go into combat stance and then kill it before it notices you? Or can you sneak up on it in combat stance as long as you're behind it? Let's see here. Okay, yeah, so Captain Beaky does confirm that there are instant kill combat moves with knives and things like that, but he doesn't remember all of the details. So that makes perfect sense. I often don't know all the details about State of Decay 2, as my audience can definitely tell you, so... Okay, so Vanner Gaming says that combat stance is considered sneaking as far as noise is concerned. So, yeah, if they're right, then that makes a lot of sense. By the way, zero skill, when we were talking about different character skills having different levels of development, Zero Skill LPB says that the mechanic skill in particular has gotten a lot of development and works really, really well. And that's honestly one that I've spent the least time on, because building up that skill requires you to do so many weird, unmotivated things. It's like you have to like tinkering with cars, basically. You have to be like taking parts of cars off and putting them on other cars just for fun. And I have not really spent time with a character doing that. But I feel like maybe I should at some point. Like maybe the next character, like if I can actually build... the defenses here that I want to build, maybe my next character should be a mechanic, and I should try to learn how that works. Coalition asks, has playing Project Zomboid given you the feeling you should go out and learn practical skills like these, just in case there's an apocalypse? I didn't need Project Zomboid for that. I've always thought that I have inadequate skills for surviving an apocalypse, and I keep thinking, oh yeah, I should learn to do some stuff, and then I don't, because I'm super, super lazy. Okay, yeah, so multiple people are saying that the sneaky uppy approach... Will a screwdriver count as a sneaky uppy weapon? And while people are considering answering that, I think let's wrap up this episode. So we're going to go to bed, we're going to wake up in the morning, and I guess we're on a quest for nails now. Which means kind of back to the old routine of looking through people's... people's closets can have nails in them pretty easily, but looking at people's sort of outbuildings seems to also be a really good... method. So we'll go on a quest for nails. I don't know how well it's going to work, but for right now, if you're watching this later on YouTube, this will be a subscribe button. That will be a link to my next Zomboid episode, and that will be something else. I don't know what it's going to be. I've got about 40 minutes until my appointment, so...